to see the original Predator movie, so let me know down below if you want me to review it after I've watched it. And I think I'll really enjoy it because I love those 90s Arnold Schwarzenegger cheesy action movies like Kindergarten Cop and True Lies, if anybody apart from me remembers that movie. It's one of my all time favorite action movies. I don't know why, it's not even really a good movie. It's just an enjoyable movie. Anyway, so I have actually seen one of the Predator movies. That was the one that came out in 2018. So maybe the title is a little bit misleading because I have seen one of them, but everybody said that that movie didn't really count and it wasn't a good movie and it was a pretty bad movie in my opinion. So yeah, I really feel like I'm new to the franchise. So, I feel like my review might be different than somebody who's grown up and watched all the Predator movies, grown up with the franchise being a nostalgic part of their childhood. So, anyway, look, firstly, I absolutely loved the filming location. It looked like, I think I read it was filmed in Canada, but it looked a lot like Washington State, which I used to work at as a camp counselor because I'm an Australian and I went over to America to work at a camp. And yeah, it reminded me a lot of that setting, just beautiful and nature. And yeah, that's probably the best thing that I can say about this movie is that I really liked the setting and the filming location. Apart from that, yeah, look, I really liked the fact that they had the Native American storyline. I forget how you say it. Kombucha. No, that's a drink. Kombucha. No, that. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. The tribe name. I don't want to butcher it, but I really liked that they had that as the focus. And I have absolutely no problem with there being a female lead. There's been so many amazing women in action movies over the years, but this girl is not one of them. I just found her character to be very petty and unlikable, and she basically gets people killed because she's so eager to prove herself, which isn't a bad thing, but she's so eager to prove herself that it becomes a bad thing because she's willing to endanger people's lives, the rest of the hunting party, which she basically just crashed and said, "Here I am, deal with it." And yeah, it's like she continuously puts herself and other people in danger, and like nothing seems to happen to her. She keeps failing up. And like that situation with the bear, she's about to attack this huge bear and she's upwind of it, and every hunter, even I know, you shouldn't be upwind of an animal that you're hunting. And then suddenly it sees her, and instead of doing the logical thing and running away, she tries to load her arrow, and then the predator comes and basically saves her. But she should have died in that moment because she just showed such an utter lack of logic and intelligence in that moment. I can't compare to the original Predator, but I will say that the Predator in this movie, I did enjoy him as well. I feel like he was a good villain. He felt like he was an actual threat, and I thought he was one of the better parts of the movie. So for all you animal lovers like me, spoiler alert, don't worry, the dog survives. I know you were all worried because let's be honest, nobody likes to see the dog die in movies unless you're a sadist. Anyway, so there were moments where this dog really should have died. It felt like it was a cat and it had 9 lives. But there was plenty of other animal deaths, I will say. But it was obviously CGI, so it wasn't really a problem. Though I don't think the CGI is as bad as people are saying. I've seen quite a few people complaining about the CGI, and I honestly didn't personally have a problem with it. I did have a problem with the acting. I felt like the acting needed a lot of work, especially from the lead character. she needed to emote a lot more. She showed basically no emotions, even when she really needed to be showing emotions, like when there is a huge bear about to attack her and her face is just like blank. Anyway, it just feels like if she can't get emotional, we as the viewer can't really get emotional on her behalf. And also, the tension needed a lot of work. I felt like there just wasn't enough tension in this movie, and there was so many moments with the Predator. They really could have expanded upon it and built it up more. But I will say that the fighting, there was some pretty good action scenes in this, especially by the Native American tribe, how they were flipping around on their horses, sort of like it reminded me of like Legolas from Lord of the Rings, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I feel like they needed to focus more on the relationship with the lead character and her brother. I feel like that was an interesting way to humanize her and bring some more emotion into the movie, which was really needed. And I would have liked to see it if they had had him train her, helped her to become a better fighter, and yeah, really made him more of a central character. So I think that the movie was slow, especially in the second act. There were quite a few moments where I honestly felt a little bit bored. So probably the worst thing about this movie for me was the ending. So we see her defeat the Predator and it just did not feel earned at all. We have this girl, and I'm not saying it's because she's a girl, but we see her fail time and time again. She fails. I think at one point she can't even catch a rabbit. And then we're meant to believe she defeats the Predator because she sets up these like Kevin McAllister type traps for it. And it just does not feel earned at all. And honestly, them trying to make her into like this badass Mulan would have been so cool if they did it properly. And I just feel like they needed to have a moment where they show her failing, but then finally getting it and starting to succeed and going from being the underdog to starting to become a good warrior. And we just never really get that moment. Instead, it's fail, fail, kill the Predator. And it would have been cool to see her brother, like I said, see how serious she is about hunting and help her become a better warrior. And it will humanize her more because it'll show that she needs the help and she's willing to accept it. But instead it just seemed like she had a chip on her shoulder the whole movie and she wanted to do everything herself. Honestly, I wouldn't say that this is a movie I'm going to rewatch. Look, I didn't hate it, don't get me wrong. I think it's definitely worth watching, on a Friday night if you have nothing better to do, but I wouldn't say it's something that you should really go out of your way to see. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this movie. And if you could like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're already subscribed. It really helps promote my videos. Thanks, guys.